Same.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to open this Polk County Board of Commissioners, June 15th. All commissioners are present. Extra agendas are on the table by the back door. Looking for comments not on this agenda. Hearing none, looking for approval of agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Approval of minutes from June 8th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, motion passes. Approval of consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. General liability property insurance for year 2022, 2023. Mr. Greg Hansen and John Woods. John, coming up.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the board, in your packet is a memorandum detailing the cost and the recommendation for the purchase of insurance. There will be another one within the next week or two involving workers' comp insurance. That would be the last of our insurances that we will need to consider and purchase for the upcoming fiscal year. It's pretty self-explanatory. We will be going with CIS and all those things. John can tell you what we are getting and what we aren't. And also we are not, at least at this time, purchasing cybersecurity insurance option from CIS. It's quite expensive for the little amount you get. So
And
that is not included.
yeah, that might be another piece that we add later through another company. It's called Cowbell. Very hip name.
More cowbell, is that what you said?
It's called
We
Cowbell
need more
Cyber.
cowbell?
You might-
Yeah.
You might.
I'm sorry, I may have done that for the press. Inappropriate.
You need a separate motion for that?
The amount they give you on the base policy is 50,000. They were going to charge 7,500 for that. We haven't even got a quote for their other tiers, which go to 250 and 750 if they're available, if we qualify. It seems like a high rate for a little amount. It's also a 5 million aggregate for the insurance pool. So it could run out before you have your first claim. You would have not the limit that you buy. Cowbell has a potential to have at least $1 million limit. I've yet to see the premium. We're working it out because your guys' exposure is a little unique because of the services you do for other entities. So we're still waiting on that. The underwriter was out of the office for the workers' comp. They're in the office today, so they're going to be able to answer our questions and get that dialed in. The rest of it is basically what you've had prior. We've adjusted some limits on a few newer buildings, but everything else is pretty much the same as it's always been.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I could have a million questions, but I'm not in the middle of negotiating or working like you two guys are, so I take your recommendations at face value.
No, I mean, CIS is essentially the only game in town for insurance. As soon as there are a lot of companies are willing to write insurance, but once you say you have a jail, they aren't real excited about it. So they run away. So CIS is obviously all inclusive. It's designed for government entities, both city and county. Most of your counties purchase their insurance through CIS unless they are big enough to self-insurance and buy reinsurance and those things. And there's probably only 7 of those in the state, or at least countywide, that can go self-insured. But, you know, we always buy property insurance. That's an obvious no-brainer. We buy auto and automobile liability. And then the general liability, we just don't have the reserves or the amount of money to have a self-insurance pool. In my history, we did it for about 3 years. We were fortunate and lucky not to have any real claims. So it worked, but as we got bigger and more fiscally stable, we've always purchased insurance. So insurance continues to increase slightly in cost in that. But overall, it's still the only game in town. And I really would prefer if you recommend or approve the recommendation.
You're also on what's called a retro plan that is kind of a combination of a self-insured, but you're still buying the product. You can gain a little bit of a discount if your claims are lower.
Which we have
Mm.
a discount.
On the liability side, we've been pretty good recently. Workers' comp, we have the roller coaster ride that we'll deal with workers' comp, like I said, next week or the week after.
Which we predict also should be stable, if not lower.
We had.
Experience rating at least.
Experience rating went down from 0.87 to 0.84. I know that for a fact.
The
The question-
standard premium went down too, but
Yeah.
they issued the renewal offer without the retro plan that we had
Yeah.
last year.
As I read it, yeah, it's a fixed plan. We've always been retro plan on workers' comp. But just finding out if they even offer that or not. The guaranteed plan actually is not bad, and I may not even recommend a retro even if they offer it, but they've added a bunch of discounts, and those I think they shy away from retro plans, at least SAFE does. And so we'll see.
And so what's the, not to get us off track here, but what's the incentive then for no retro plan? What's the incentive for a client
No retro plan?
besides your premiums could skyrocket, of course, but
Yeah, so.
I mean, that's part of the incentive, right? Is you
Right.
drive your safety program harder to,
In the past, a guaranteed plan required us to have $150,000 worth of claims before we lost our bet. With a retro plan, when we were with CIS, it was 1.3, so a 130 retro. Safe gave us one last year, but it was a 170 retro, so our upper end exposure was a lot greater. This year, at least on their first quote to us, didn't offer that, but they've offered a bunch of discounts that they hadn't done on the guaranteed plan before. So my guess is our claims would have to be under 50,000, which is a very good year. We've averaged probably 75 to 80. So we've almost always made money on a retro plan. This year, with the lower guaranteed cost, it may not make sense to do it, but I just got to see their numbers, or if they're willing to give us additional numbers. So overall, we're fine in workers' comp. It's just what product we'll go with. So that's how I see workers' comp. And we'll find out later this week. And then I have the memo already written, except knowing if I got a retro plan offer or not. So.
I move to approve the recommendation to ensure as presented.
Second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You pass
Good
it.
job, John.
Sir.
Thank you.
You will be insured.
Thank you.
Reclassification for 2 road maintenance workers. Mr. Matt Hawkins.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I am here to request reclassification, as you said, of 2 road maintenance workers. This is specifically for Jeremy Pullen and Matt Wallace. Both Jeremy and Matt have been working as road maintenance workers, however, have gone through the process of acquiring CDL. They've been doing a lot of work in our heavy equipment. So we're requesting that they be reclassified as heavy equipment operators. This would be effective July 1st. As you can see in my memo, both of them have one's put in over 600 hours and another over 700 hours actually in our heavy equipment doing grading work. So if the board approves that, this would be, as I said, effective July 1st with a fiscal impact for the 22-23 year of approximately $5,600, including PERS contributions.
I'm good with it.
Good.
I'm good with it too, but I do have a question. In your mind, I don't know that we have enough history on this to answer this effectively, but in your mind, is this part of us, a part of our challenge that we help get these people certified to this level and then make them more attractive to the private sector?
I think I'm going to give Todd a little bit of credit here. So in my mind, yeah, that's absolutely a possibility. But I think what Todd has done here is given people opportunities to continue to grow within our agency. And I think he's picked so far people who want to do that. The people that we've struggled with keeping have not been long-term employees. They've come on and then decided, I can go do something else elsewhere. The benefits didn't matter as much to them, but those that have been growing with us, as Jeremy and Matt have, I think tend to stick around. And there's a big old piece of wood right here. I'm gonna knock on and hope that it stays that way.
And I asked this
That's
question.
a
as
valid question.
As a past business owner,
Yeah.
who was always doing, fulfilling my own prophecy in that regard. You constantly want to train people up. You want to bring them from within. You want to do that. And then you get them certified to a certain level and boom, here comes your competitors to, scoop them away from you. There's nothing you can do about it. I was just curious if but that's a great answer. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
All good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have a need for executive session today?
None for me, sir.
With that, meeting's adjourned.